understanding and having like a very loyal customer following, it's so hard to do today for a brand, especially as you have more competition in most consumer verticals and like niching down of new entrants where like they're carving off a percentage of your customer base. And I think there's a huge phenomenon here going on that's just making it very hard, even for incumbent businesses, to like stay super competitive and to maintain a high level of LTV just when they're looking at their metrics. But I'm curious, like when you look at cohorting and you're kind of like trying to figure out a lot of these things, where do you start, Alex? Like, how do you work through some of these challenges? Because I know for a lot of founders, like you have access to all these tools, all these data tools now. And it's like, okay, how do I sift through the data? What do I do?
So I wanted to touch on something that you brought up about Gen Z. I think that's just young people. And it's something I realize that the older you get, the higher your switching costs become. And brand is really like a shorthand for something that's a known quantity. So if you buy something and you like it, like, you know, at my age now, especially as a parent, when my time is really limited, I'm not going to sit and like infinite scroll through things if I know that I go to a certain brand for, you know, clothing or home goods and like I know that it works and it's dependable. I'm not entertaining myself by trialing new brands. Whereas, you know, if you're younger, you typically just have more time, both in your day and in your remaining life. And so, you know, you can afford to be less loyal. So I think part of it is like trying to build a youth-focused brand is just always going to be harder than either building a brand that's aiming for people who are like 35 plus or just like a diverse range of ages. Not only because of the time thing, but also just because older people tend to have more money. So that's something to keep in mind.
That's a really interesting take, I just want to say, because it's so sexy to build for the youth culture, but it sounds so much more pragmatic when you put it in those terms of if you build something that inherently you need to replenish, you're building for busy people with high disposable income. Yeah, that just sounds like a better customer off the bat to me.
They are. I mean, they are. It's a bigger market, like baby boomers, and they just have a ton of disposable cash. I will say though, like I think the trend in the market as those consumers become more digitally literate, which they basically did overnight through COVID, I think their attention spans are decreasing too. They are having trouble with commitment. I even see it on the B2B side. Like there is endless options. There's a lack. There's perfect information symmetry now with the internet. Like, you know, the product or service you're going after and all of the 5 and 10 competitors just by virtue of, how instant the internet has made things. So I think there is risk even for the older demos where, I'll just use anecdotal evidence. Like talk to my parents, they've got like tons of new products. They're being introduced to, tons of new products through, the work that we do and advertising. And I don't think the velocity with which that is happening now was happening previously. But your point is totally taken. And I think it's definitely more true of younger demos than older generations.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if something works exceptionally well, that's a wedge. Like if you look at the beauty category, there's a lot of snake oil there, or a lot of like pure marketing and a lot of competition. Like DTC blew the field open, where 5 years ago, there were, tons of beauty brands scaling up to like $100 million in revenue. And now it's just a lot harder for everyone. But like if you look at Olaplex and K18, that stuff really works. Like it's backed by science and it does repair damage in your hair. And those are both like really highly valued companies.
Yeah. And we just looked at both of those businesses. I mean, K18 came out of nowhere and just took, I think 2019 and just scaled like crazy. Olaplex is now their category leader in that prestige hair care category. Yeah. I mean, those are great businesses, efficacious products too. Like, they're built on good products.